When it comes to disrupting several industries in one go, no one does better than Tesla with its founder Elon Musk, always coming up with some crazy ideas that will define our future 10 years from now. For every company, especially ones for whom technological innovation is everything, partnerships are important. So it's time for us to discuss Tesla's insane partnership that is going to change the entire landscape of how we perceive the internet. Elon Musk is set to embark upon a partnership with Google, which is going to be the first of its kind and will be a game changer. SpaceX, Elon Musk's space exploration company, is all set to team up with Google to provide high-speed internet and remote computing services to its customers, businesses, and other organizations. Starlink is the name of the service and a network of satellites that belongs to SpaceX. It intends to become a global internet provider in the coming years, and the technology is unique to what existing internet service providers use. It is all about providing a connection that travels through space via communication satellites. Starlink wants to bring an internet connection that travels to all corners of the globe, especially those locations on the planet where there is a lack of on-ground infrastructure. Initially, Starlink will focus on wealthy and technologically advanced countries in North America and Western Europe. The implementation of this project requires sending satellites into space, something that has become quite a specialty for SpaceX. Back on Earth, customers will be given a special Starlink dish that will receive the signal from orbit. We have to go back to the start of the 2010s to find traces of this program. Back in November 2014, Elon Musk hinted at SpaceX playing a role in the new internet revolution. At that time, most of the discussions were around the creation of several microsatellites in partnership with a company called Worldview Satellites. In 2016, SpaceX had filed a request to the Federal Communications Commission to send a fleet of satellites around Earth. But it wasn't until 2018 that the first experimental satellites were sent to orbit. The following year, the first operational satellites were sent into orbit. So how does Starlink work? Since it uses a constellation of satellites, internet connections travel through space. However, for it to work, the company needs ground infrastructure or ground stations. This is why SpaceX signed an agreement with Google to install its terminals at Google's new Albany, Ohio data center. The deal is a natural alliance for both companies since Google had already invested $900 million in the space company that helped in Starlink satellite manufacturing. So far, 1,625 Starlink satellites have been launched in orbit, and a beta program is well on its way, catering to 10,000 users across the US, Canada, and a few countries in Europe. At present, the subscription costs of Starlink are tailored in a way that does require a significant upfront investment. The kit alone costs $499 and includes a satellite antenna, Wi-Fi router, power supply, mounting tripod, and cables. Shipping and service costs outside US and Canada are around €59. As for access to the service, the monthly price is $99, which is a lot of money, but we are hopeful that these rates are going to go down once Starlink's customers increase to a certain number. But then again, you also have to look at the current competition. For instance, Nordnet in Europe charges €299 for a kit and comes with a 1-year commitment period. On its homepage, the Starlink service says that internet speeds can range from 50 Mbps to 150 Mbps during the beta phase. However, once the service is fully launched, customers will benefit from a higher data transmission capacity. Musk says that the quality of his service will surge significantly this year and the next with higher speeds and lower latency. This will be considered by traditional internet service providers as a clear warning, with Starlink expected to increase its speeds to 300 Mbps and drop latency to around 20 milliseconds. Other companies should be worried. While Starlink promises to be a game changer in rural areas, its offering remains expensive. Therefore, it will take its time to establish in markets where traditional internet service providers are doing well. Take, for example, Orange or the Bouygues Telecom in France, who guarantee speeds of up to 2 gigs per second at only €45 a month. Starlink is currently available in 14 countries around the world, but when we talk about its rates, we'll go back to France as a case study. The French very high-speed plan will cover the entire country with optical fiber by 2025, and once that happens, Starlink's current charges will be too steep, so customers will have no value proposition to look at. There has been a fair amount of criticism towards the Starlink program as well, but before we talk about that, let's talk about why Google entered this partnership in the first place. In the second quarter of 2020, Google's total advertising revenue fell 8% to $29.9 billion, as the pandemic's economic fallout started taking its shape. This was the first time in the search giant's history that the ad revenue had declined from the prior year. While Alphabet's total revenue slipped 1.7%, the cloud computing business did well, offsetting a major decline in ad sales. This year, the company has made a good recovery with its earnings in the third quarter of 2021, showing a record $65.1 billion in revenue. It was once again retail advisors who were key revenue drivers. It was quite a significant achievement, since the earnings season was expected to be marred by the recent data changes Apple has made to its data privacy settings. As things stand, Google is competing with the likes of Amazon and Microsoft for its cloud computing services, which make collaboration with Starlink crucial. Applications and services running in the cloud can be transformative for organizations, whether they're operating in a highly networked or remote environment, Urs Halsel, Senior Vice President of Infrastructure at Google Cloud, said. With Starlink's high-speed, low-latency broadband, Google will be looking to give the likes of Microsoft and Amazon's cloud services a run for their money. However, some underlying issues need to be discussed as well. Rural America is still not enjoying the considerable gains of high-speed internet, with only 43% of people in rural New York connected at 25 megabytes per second or above. American telecom policy has long championed facility-based competition, and in Starlink, there is a new player in town that does not rely on existing infrastructure. This means that we can expect telecom lobbyists to make things harder for Starlink to become a true reality. With a total lack of competition due to its facility-based competition, Starlink might struggle to get both feet on the ground in America. In Europe, however, the prevailing theme is of service-based competition, where providers have to lease fiber access to competitors, which creates a thriving market for internet access at lower prices and faster speeds. A lot of Americans pay a steep price for slow internet, which is why the rise of Starlink has been very well received by the locals. However, the Starlink technology also has its limitations, for now. The official website clearly says that if any object such as a tree, chimney, pole, etc. interrupts the path of the beam, even briefly, your internet service will be interrupted. Starlink recommends users install the device at the highest possible elevation, so those who are living in areas that are surrounded by trees or tall buildings might not be able to enjoy the full spectrum of the service. Another thing that Starlink has attracted criticism for is how its multiple satellites blanket the sky and interfere with astronomers. Some also feel that traffic all around the Earth would seriously increase the risk of collision, which can result in a catastrophe and even a chain reaction with other satellites, including the ISS. The presence of these satellites in large number would also threaten space activities. Currently, agreements are underway to manage such traffic all around the orbit, with NASA looking to take strict measures to avoid an ominous sight. Right now, Starlink offers great access to the internet, inconsistent connectivity, and huge latency issues. But these issues are expected to be resolved as the company launches more satellites. Maybe then, it will work like a charm in regions dominated by tall trees. The fact that it is in beta and the company hasn't made any promises about its reliability means that we can't rain down hard on this new technology. However, once the technology is perfected, we are sure that Starlink is going to become a great alternative to the existing internet infrastructure we have at our disposal. But then again, Starlink has become a great option for those people who are disappointed at an utter lack of competition when it comes to great internet service.